Hello everyone. Welcome to the first Taqelah webinar of 2021. A Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday. Today we have a very special speaker with us, Ramit Kaul. Ramit is hands at testing.com, which is an AI testing startup. He says that he is a stand-up artist trapped in the body of a tester. Known for his witty, knowledgeable, and fun-filled sessions, he brings simplicity and articulation to even the most complex subjects. And thus, he delivers great value to his audience through his talks. I have attended a couple of Ramit's talks in the past, and they've all been amazing. So I'm really looking forward to this one. One note, so we would like this session to be an interactive one. So participants will be able to unmute themselves and interact in between the session whenever Ramit asks us some questions maybe. But please be respectful in the interactions and keep this community safe for everyone. All right, with that, Ramit, the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lavanya. Thank you, Taqelah team. Looking forward. Thank you very much, guys. First Saturday coming here, listening to me. Thank you very much for that. As you can see, the topic today is just pass is not quality. So what we are going to talk about. Now, before I start there, here is something for you guys. Please read it and understand it well. Okay. This is only for you. I'm not going to speak anything here. We are good. Lavanya, you can help me with this.
Sorry?
Can we move forward? Yes, good. Here is another slide for you guys. The entire PPT or the entire talk that I'm going to give today, or the interactions that I'm going to have today, is based on how I have dealt with, or how people have dealt with me as a tester, both sides, not just the one side of story. I'm no hero in this story. This entire talk has been a brainchild of, or the outcome of a lot of interactions which have happened with a lot of testers around me. Having worked in industry for 18 plus years, a lot of people have spoken with me. I have learned a lot from other people, and thus everything that you are going to hear are actual stories now. Okay, let's get started. When you come to conferences, or you come to these talks, or you come to evening talks, or you talk to your people around you, there is always a great chance that you will learn new things. The problem or the bad news here is that many of us forget, or tend to forget, remembering this, whatever we have learned over a period of time. So my idea for you guys is that, when you listen to any talks, or you go to any conferences, or you talk to different people, make a cheat list for you. You can give it a better name. I call it cheat list. And keep putting it down. What are all the learnings you got out of that particular talk, or particular conference, or anywhere you go, and then try to see how you can apply this cheat list on your day-to-day work. The more you will have this kind of list being created for you, the better it will go over a period of time. It might start as a very simple thing, or it might start as a very non-interesting thing that you want to do, but over a period of time you will understand that this master cheat list that you are developing will help you immensely in your work. So let's get started, guys. I don't have many slides to talk about. I want to talk to you guys more, but you have to understand first of all why you think the products fail. So I have given you few ideas here. The biggest problem I have seen in my 17, 18 years that I've spent in industry is that when you talk to people want to showcase their knowledge more than they want to understand the problem. And these so-called experts then create systems, or they try to create systems which sometimes are not user-friendly. Sometimes the systems that we are working on are not doing the work that they are supposed to do, and so on and so forth. So that starts creating a kind of problem in the products, and these products then fail to do the work they are supposed to do. I'll tell you an example. I started on a product with a couple of my friends in 2017. We thought of starting a uh, our own startup for some time, and when we started working on the product and the feature list that we created at the start, none of us had experience of building a product from the scratch. We all were into a job and we started to do something, and we find out that everybody had an expert view on everything else. So when you have an expert view on everything else, nothing will get established, or nothing will get completed then, because more the people, more the expertise, or more the solutions will start coming up, and that will create a problem. Another great problem that I have seen with products failing is that people will have wrong data, or they will communicate it in a wrong way. What is a wrong data? uh, or what is this communication problem? Now, if you think of the languages, or if you think of the different types of languages, or the different types of softwares that we build around us, there are many different kinds of languages that you will use in the system. For example, you start with your requirements, or your user stories, or whatever it is, you call it as designs, or whatever it is, they are written in plain simple English. Then you try to convert them into a high level language. For example, uh, you might be using languages like UML, or you may not be using it, and then you convert it into low level languages, which are further changed or further interpreted by the systems in a different way. And then we try to test these. People write test cases, or people try to explore the systems, and then they again try to see the user side of the story. So what you're doing is essentially you are changing one system, or you're changing one form of communication into another form of communication into another form of communication, and you keep doing it till uh, the essence with which you would have started something is lost. Uh, you can understand it if you look at a movie which is based on a book, probably. For example, if you have seen Harry Potter, and if you read the book, you will find that there are major portions of the book which have not been covered in the movie is great, there's no doubt about it, but there can be certain places where the essence of what that particular book, or what that particular chapter was talking about in the book, is lost in the movie, because movie is a time boxed, a book is not time boxed. And same goes with the with the way you communicate things in a day-to-day life. Okay. Especially in this online world that we are in today, saying a hello against a hello, they are two different things. Whereas when you write it, when you write something on in an email doesn't has its own expression. Or let us say, when you write a note to somebody, the note doesn't has its own expression. But when we talk to people, that talk has an expression in it. How you will convey that expression, and because of that expression not being conveyed from one place to another, sometimes you will fall into a trap of using a wrong set of data, or using communication which might not go well. Plus, okay, somebody I think has something to say in a chat. Okay, my bad. Now, in I'll give you a beautiful example from one of the systems I was testing. Now, we were testing this healthcare product where these monitors, I don't know how many of you have seen monitors, but if you go to a ICU, or if you go to a patient's bed, you will see these different monitors where you will see different vitals of the patient going in. Now, we were testing a system, and in that system, there was this cardiologist who was trying to operate a person doing an open heart surgery, and trying to test the system, or trying to see the vitals of the person with many screens around this person, or many monitors around the doctor. And the requirement said, if there is an interrupt which comes in, a message should come on the screen, press F1 to continue. Now, out of all these 11 monitors, they all go blank, and there is this small press F1 to continue message comes on one of the monitors on the left bottom side of the screen, very small 10 size font. And the tester said everything is okay. We saw the message, press F1 to continue. But you need to keep yourself in place of that surgeon, and you need to think of, do you think the surgeon who is doing open heart surgery has time to see what that message is. So probably a blinker right on the screen, on every screen, probably will tell you, that this is the right message, rather than, just saying, hey, it is passed, because the expected result was that a message should come on the screen, press F1 to continue. Actual, a message came, press F1 on the screen to continue. So everything is okay, everything is hunky-dory, everything is good. Will not work. And that is what has led me to a new term that I'm trying to advocate to people, which I'm calling is as empathy-driven testing. You must be empathetic, not the sympathy towards the end person or the end user, but empathy towards the end user, and you will understand how your products will start getting better. The third problem is stakeholders themselves. Now, they are different from experts. Experts can be technical experts. Experts can be the employees in your organization. But the people who are actually, when I say stakeholders here, now I'm talking about the people who want to put their money into the system. The stakeholders sometimes themselves don't know what kind of product they want to build. uh, Me and my wife once had gone to shopping, and uh, it was a woman's day, I think a cancer or a woman's day or some kind of event, and I had to play golf, though I don't know anything about golf except the spelling of golf. But then these guys called me and said, hey Ramit, why don't you join us? And the entire thing was about raising money for the awareness. But the dress code was that all the men have to wear pink t-shirts for the golf and black trousers. So I didn't had a pink t-shirt. So we go shopping, and my wife says to the shopkeeper, hey, give us a pink t-shirt. um, when this guy comes with a pink t-shirt, my wife says, hey, this pink is too pink, so show me a different shade of pink. And that day, uh, my knowledge was enhanced about the colors, because for me, my life is around only Vibgor, 7 8 colors. But then that day I knew that there is something called a baby pink, or there is something called uh, pinkish pink or lavenderish pink. And the pink itself has so many shades. I never knew it. Okay. So after looking at 17 18 different t-shirts of different shades of pink, finally we choose the first shirt that we saw. So this tells you the stakeholders themselves who are putting money onto the system, they themselves might be confused about what kind of product they really want. So you have to be very very careful. And another major problem that I have seen is assumptions. Assume. Look at the word ASSUME. I read it in a book sometime, many years back. Assume means making a ass, ass of you and me. Don't assume anything in this IT world. As soon as you have assumed something and tried to test the system, God forbid if it is a mission critical or a life critical system, then these assumptions can be very very dangerous. Okay, what you assume as a good number, for example, try it out someday. Where let us say you are doing currency conversion. Now most of you are in Singapore. Try to do a Singapore dollar against Indian rupee conversions, and just change the third decimal point of your currency and see how much currency is getting exchanged between Singapore and India every year. And look at that, just one decimal change can create havoc in the banking systems. So assuming that everything is okay, or assuming that something is going right, or assuming that this will be the right way, never asking questions about all these things, can create havoc with the products. And that is what might be a reason for products failing. Assumptions I've seen, people just assume. For for example, when I joined IT industry, um, my lead told me on day 3 or day 4 of my work that, hey Ramit, open the VSS and do a review of some specification, where they didn't use the word specification. So she said, I think open VSS and get a SRS or something and review it. Now I had two questions: what is VSS and what is SRS? And believe me, I tried to find out VSS as a physical space, because when I asked somebody what is VSS, they said, oh, it's a place where you keep all your files. Now, being from a non-IT world, being a engineer earlier in electricals and working in a cement plant, I thought that you are actually talking about a physical cabinet where you keep all your uh, keep all your file and I tried to find out that cabinet space. I tried to find that physical location. I didn't knew that VSS is virtual source safe, which was a very popular uh, relation management system those days. And then what is SRS? So uh, typically, uh, typically you have to be very, very careful of looking at these assumptions. And the final thing that I have noted over a period of time is the perceived risks and failures are how you look at a system and how you identify where the risk in the system is. Sometimes it happens that the places where there are actual risks, you have not even identified them. So how you will identify all these risks? I think a very good idea, or I will give you a very basic quick check of how to identify these risks is one day in your system, just sit together as a team and just write down. I'm not talking about discussing it with each other. Just write down all the words that are in your vocabulary. And once you've written all these words, see how many of them can be a potential risk to your system. It can be anything. It can be, my name is Ramit. Is that a risk to system? No, it is not a risk to system. Functionality, yes, it is a risk. Or you can start with, uh, ISO 25010 kind of starters. For example, you look at functionality, reliability, usability, efficiency, maintainability, portability, security, operability. Then you can look at internationalization, localization. So think of all the testing words that come to your mind, put them all on a piece of paper and see how many of them are applicable to your system. And then once they are applicable as a risk to your system, keep looking at how many of these risks can really create havoc in the system. So where are the risks? Do you perceive these risks in a correct way or not? And what kind of failures these risks can lead you to, that can make your products much more better than what they will be. This is what I think. And these are again my assumptions as well, because I'm going back to assumption. Um, I would like to go back to wrong data for a second. Uh, Wrong data can kill systems which are data based. Now, with especially AI ML coming into picture, and I am from a company which is a AI startup company, I can tell you entire AI or the modeling or anything can be based on the data that you are talking about. And data uh, never tells you the right story you uh, until you interpret that data in a right way. Uh, I don't know how many of you are from India, but I can give you a story. Okay, let me give you a generic international story. So there was a survey which was done in France, and it was found that 97% of the people in France are singles. Okay, singles, 97% people. And people were amazed with this because they knew that France is a romantic place and it is very hard to be a single in a country like France, which is said to be the capital of romance in some ways. And it was found that the survey was done in a monastery where people remain, people are always single. They are into their meditation and everything. So, guys, not just the data, where are you picking the data from, where you are, how you are interpreting the data, and are you asking the right set of questions to right set of people, is going to create your systems much, much better. Now, read this. For example, I'm talking about, do you think testers love breaking things? And if you think, there's a big debate on, oh, testers are negative, testers are pessimists, and so on and so forth. This is the question I ask everybody. Can you make a nice, beautiful stone statue without using a chisel and a hammer? Or you cannot. So we are the guys who are constructive pessimists, and we are paid constructive pessimists. Remember that. Because if you don't remember it, you will find that you might get bogged down by people telling you, hey, you always stop this release, or you always show these kind of bugs. Why you are showing these bugs? And especially for the people, my friends here, who have started their careers, they are in your second year, third year, fourth year, up to the fourth year of their careers. You might be thinking of why we are seen as negative people here. But remember, being pessimist, that too a constructive pessimist, and people paying you for this, what beautiful things you are doing. So you have to understand this. One thing my 18 years have told me, and I always say this, people don't agree with me many times. I always say technology doesn't drive business. Okay, technology drive people. and people forced technology to evolve. A great example of this is the touchscreen mobiles that you have in your hands today. If you look at the entire evolution of the touch screens, mobile touch screens, and if you look at the softwares or anything which is running behind these touch screens, you will find that people have forced technology companies to change the way mobile phones were being used in this world. Right from when BlackBerry used to be there as the phone, especially the business phone today, this is all gone, and the entire world has moved to Android and iOS. So you need to understand that technology cannot drive your business, but business people can drive your technology, people can drive your business, people can force you to evolve your softwares over a period of time. And always remember that end of the day, me as an end user or anybody else as an end user, they are the ones who are looking or using your product. So when you are, for example, there can be that somebody else is putting money on the product and somebody else can be the end user. You need to understand the perspective of, as an end user, the one who is putting the money on the system and the other person who is going to finally use the system. For example, a bank. You are creating a banking software. You understand that a teller will use the banking software, but teller is not spending money. The bank's management is spending money on the software. So you need to understand the end user perspective of both the banking management plus that teller who is going to use that software. And once you are doing that, then everything else will fall into place. Another thing that for me that I have understood over a period of time is that when I assess good testing, whether I'm using the test-driven approach or a risk-driven approach, or I'm using exploratory testing, or I'm using this, or I'm using that, end of the day, the coverage that you're doing around your testing is very important. For example, when you're testing a mobile app, and if you're testing an Android mobile app, you need to first understand how many people are on which version of Android. Then you need to understand how many people are using which kind of screen size. You need to understand how many people are using a particular original equipment manufacturer. You need to understand people who are on Samsung or Xiaomi or any other kind of phone. And then you need to find out what kind of the right set of equipment you are going to use to get the good coverage, because there can be thousands and thousands of mobile phones or OEMs which are there in the system. Plus how many abuse cases you are, not just the use cases, abuse cases you are. This is from my very good friend Rahul Verma. And all this comes to a final thing, which is what are the variables that are influencing your testing. I ask this question, and here I want you guys to get into a system. If I want to make a good cup of tea, what are the ingredients I need? So this is now open. You guys can chip in. I want to make a good cup of tea. What are the ingredients I need? You can also type if you are shy uh, writing down anything. I want to make a good cup of tea. What are the ingredients I need? So I opened the chat window. Water, tea, milk, sugar, cardamom, ginger. Lot of assumptions there. I don't like cardamom or ginger. Tea leaves and water. Very nice. So Gaurav has given me an answer. Adit has given me an answer. Tea leaves and water. Somebody asked me a question. Lavanya has asked me a question. What kind of tea do you want? Okay. So she's not straight away jumping to the answer now. She's asking me what kind of tea do you want? Let us say I want green tea. So tell me, Lavanya, now at green tea, what kind of tea, what kind of ingredients I will require? Somebody has written milk, tea powder, hot water. Very nice. Things are getting better now. Not just the water, I need hot water. What else? Which green tea? Lemon or something else? Let us keep it plain, Gaurav. I understand it. But let us keep it very, very plain. Simple, normal green tea. Plain green tea, nothing else. What's the sugar level you're looking for? I don't want any sugar in it. So you see now a lot of assumptions will keep going out. For example, if somebody had said sugar earlier, that sugar is gone now. I don't need sugar. Milk, hot water, and tea leaves. Water, gas, green tea, bag, lighter. Very nice, Gaurav. Getting better. You know what is the most important thing that you all are missing? a teacup or a glass? Getting it, guys? So what are the variables that are influencing your testing? Have you identified all those variables or not? Okay, so uh, it is not just it is not just the final ingredients which will make tea for me, but how will you store that tea? Where will you keep this tea? How you will serve it? So again, all these are, that we would have assumed something if I write my assumptions down. So Sharmila is saying, should these questions be taken as assumptions, or should these be part of getting the clarity and requirements? Now, there are two ways to answer this question, Sharmila. Thank you that you have asked me this. One is writing all your assumptions down and sharing these assumptions with everybody else and telling them, hey, can you check whether these assumptions are correct or not for me? And if nobody's answering you on these assumptions, then a good way will be that you keep questioning a lot of people, keep questioning them till you are clear about it. Now, you have to be very careful when it comes to questioning, because it can lead you to a wrong side. Why? Because when I'm going to prepare tea, my question should be around tea. It should not be about the teapot, or it should not be about the uh, about what kind of cup and saucer you will require. Do you require a white color cup or a green color cup, or you require flowers on your cup or anything? They all are silly questions for me. So everybody asks you, keep questioning the requirements, but people forget that your questioning should be context driven. Your questioning should be based on the subject on which you are working. If your questioning starts moving here and there, and you are asking questions on anything, uh, the clients who are going to pay money for you, they might lose their confidence on you if your questions start going right and left. Your question should be, so there should be some kind of review of your questions that you're going to ask. And if you can remember that here is my product, here is the problems that the product is uh, trying to find out, fix, or here are the problems that people are facing, here is a product which is going to fix these problems for the people, then your questioning can remain in this, so these two becomes your boundaries, and then every question that you're going to do remains within the boundary. So thank you for this, guys. Um, so we are kind of doing good so far. You guys are participating, which is good. Okay, so for me, uh, typically to fix the problem is one, questions. Keep asking the questions to people and keep checking whether the answers you are getting, or the requirements you are getting, whether they are written or not, these requirements are testable or not. um, I'll give you a classic example of testability. I think that will help everybody here. I'm from India, so there was this uh, big organization in India which is known for its electrical equipments. And one of the very popular equipment that these guys sell is ceiling fan. So they came up with a very popular slogan for that ceiling fan. They said, our fans work continuously for 25 years. Now, to test this statement that the fan works continuously for 25 years, how many years you need to test a fan? Write your answers quickly or unmute yourself and speak. So, so Adit has said that to test a fan for 25 years, it has to be 25, Gaurav. You, you have to run a fan continuously for 25 years to prove this statement that my fan runs continuously for 25 years. There is no way you can extrapolate this. Okay. You I'm saying that, I'm going to eat 25 rotis today. If I have to prove that I am going to eat 25 rotis, I have to show that I can eat 25 rotis. And what happens if this fan stops working in, let us say, 20th year or 24th year or 23rd year? You need to fix the problem and then run this fan again. And for how many years now? Still 25 years, because you have still not proven that fan runs for 25 years. This is example of non-testability. You cannot test such kind of statements. So if your software says that my software should have the best UI system in or UX system in the world, not testable. If somebody says robustness should be 100% in my system should never fail, this is not testable. Not just the only things that, they are out of the scope, but the things which are typically in the scope, which are in your requirements, but the requirements themselves are not testable. Look at all such problems which are not testable. For example, I'm just giving an example. I have nothing against Amazon or Flipkart, but how many things you can buy on Amazon or Flipkart? Is there a upper limit to it? Can you buy things worth, let us say, $100 million? Okay. Will you test it? Even if you test it, how many people in the world will buy $100 million things worth on Flipkart? And if it doesn't work on Flipkart and Flipkart and Amazon guys identify that somebody's trying to buy things worth 100 million, is it not good for Amazon guys or, the owners of Amazon or Flipkart to go personally visit this guy and say, hey, you tried to buy something $100 million worth. Can we help you? Rather than trying to find a bug unnecessary and then saying, hey, here is a bug that I found as a tester and now fix it. Please understand, the bugs can only be fixed if they bring business value to the system. If they don't bring business value to the system, nobody will fix those bugs. You have to understand it. Okay, so keep questioning things, keep getting clarity, keep checking the testability around it, and you will get to a system, or you will understand a system which you can really um, help with creating a system which you can really go and tell to people that this is the system I have tested and this is how it is useful for the people. Second thing, which in the agile word, and I have added it now, is documentation. A lot of people are not giving enough importance to documentation. I think depending on the context of the work that you're doing, for example, for a life critical, mission critical system, documentation might be very important. If you have audit trails behind your system, I think documentation will be very important. If you are going to prove your systems are worth something, there might be documentation which is required. If there is a certain standard, for example, if you are in avionics space and you need to prove that your system is as per DO 178B, which is a standard for the softwares in avionics space, you have to do the documentation. So a lot of people on the name of agile are saying no documentation. I will say your documentation should be just enough. I'm not saying that go deep into the documentation, but my focus always is to fix a particular problem. There should be enough documentation. There was this good debate going on whether whether there is test design or exploratory, or testing is what is test design about testing, or test design about exploratory, or testing is about exploratory, in the test chat group and one of the groups that I'm part of in Telegram. And I was really reading this, and I was very interested to know that how people are understanding testing. If I am a tester and I'm a very senior tester, and I have only 3 testers working with me as a lead, and all of 3 of them are, let us say, very junior, 0 to 1 year old, don't understand the system a lot. Do you think exploratory is always going to benefit me? I don't think so. I think some kind of documentation there might be very helpful for the testers. So I understand there can be different thought processes around it, but I'm again saying that my thought process tells me that there must be enough documentation about the products that you are testing. And third is management. Fix the problem at the management level. If I keep saying manual testers versus automation testers, if I keep saying API testers versus this testers, if I keep creating these ranks within the testing, you will never hear about manual developer against automation developer, manual architect against automation architect. You will never hear such words in any other space, only in testing. I'm open to say this is more of a racism within the testing industry today. If I don't value myself, or if I don't value other people who are going to work around me, then I'm creating such kind of problems. So the fixing of the problem starts at the management level. Management has to get away from using such words like manual and automation testers. Management has to get away from using words like resources for people. People are people. People are not resources. Resource is a computer hardware. Resource is a server. Resource is a rack. Resource is a chair. Resource is a table. Humans are not resources. Stop using humans as resources. And you will see, once you start giving that kind of respect to your testers will be more willing, because now you're talking about a cultural change which starts from the management. I am not giving you any gyan on this. I am the one who is trying to bring this change into the organizations that I am running today. I don't use this word resources. I have put a ban on the word resource in my system. We need testers. We need humans to work with us. How would it be where you get a person to work with you and that person always keeps a straight face, no expression on the face all the time? Will you be happy to work with it? That is what resources are. But if you have to work with humans, you need to smile. You need to share the love, the laughter, and all other emotions. And that is where a lot of problems will get solved. So question, 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 enough documentation. And I think management, I think if you are in a job, certainly teach your management. Okay, that is where I will leave it. And with this, my friends, we come to this particular slide. And here, my friends, you will need to unmute yourself because I'm going to give a problem to you on whatever we have discussed so far. And we are going to use all this to actually buy a fridge. You all know what is a fridge, a refrigerator. So let us say I have moved to your city. Assume that I have moved to your city. I'm shifting my home there and I want to buy a new fridge. So I am giving you two tasks. Now, as a presenter, I can, take the prerogative of, doing this and asking you for these two tasks. And your two tasks are: one, uh, first go to a electronic store and choose a fridge for me. And second is, when the fridge is delivered at my home, you need to come and test this fridge at my home. So these are the two things that you are going to do. One, choose a fridge for me. Second, when the fridge is delivered at home, you need to test that fridge for me. So test the fridge at shop and test the fridge at home. These are the two tasks. What will you do? And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me these questions. But believe me, now that we have discussed enough, my answers will depend on your questions. Smart question will get a smart answer, and okay question will get a okay answer. Okay, so you can unmute yourself and you can ask me questions, or um, you can ask me through a chat. So there is this first question that has come up from, I will not use the name. Now let us keep the names to only me or the people who can read this chat. What's the capacity you are looking for? Okay, this is to everyone, I think. So Gaurav, I am looking for, okay, hold on. Okay, you keep writing your questions. I will answer them one by one. So the first question is, what's the capacity you are looking for? I'm looking for a capacity of 3 BHK, 3 bedroom house, kitchen. Any specific brand? Oh yes, I have a very specific brand that I want to buy right from my childhood. It is called Vijay Super. Okay, Rohit Singh Kamar has asked a very nice question. What's your budget? Let us say my budget is, okay, let me calculate. Let us say my budget is 3,000 US dollars, 3,000 USD. Then there's another question which has come from Hong Li Chia. I hope I can pronounce your name correctly. What's the feature you needed with the fridge? One of the features that I need with the fridge is that it should work without electricity. Gaurav again asked me, should be single door or double door? Gaurav, 8-9 doors will also work for me since I'm asking for a 3 BHK. A single door or 2 doors will not work for me. See, my answers are based on your questions. The only question so far which is good is budget, and I've given a right answer to it. Okay. And with this, I can now enjoy my soup a little. Address where I have to come to test. So I will give you that. Don't worry. Good question. I will give you the address. That's it. A lot of people here. Lavanya or anybody from the Taqelah team, can people unmute themselves right now?
Yes, they should be able to unmute themselves.
Okay. Anupam has asked me, what would you store in it? I will store my shoes and clothes in it. Any star preference? 3, 4, 5 star? So let me stop you here for a moment, guys. So you understand my answers now. Gaurav, my budget is, for example, 3000 USD, which if I convert it to Indian rupee, I'm talking about around 2 lakh rupees. So for a 2 lakh rupee or a 3000 USD fridge, why will I require a 3 or a 4-star fridge? Okay, so you understand what I was saying, that your questions should be very, very smart. Smart questioning is what you will require, not just the questions. Anupam asked me, what would you store in it? What do you store in a fridge? Why will you ask this question? Do you think I will be confident to give a fridge to somebody who doesn't know what you would store in a fridge? Do you think you will be confident in giving this work to somebody who will ask me a question of what you would store in a fridge? Now, if you are specific about it, yes, I understand, Gaurav. It depends. Some people want features, some people want to save electricity. I'm talking about 3000 USD, my friend. I'm talking about 3000 USD. I'm not giving you a I'm not giving you a thin budget. I'm giving you a nice budget about it. Somebody who is ready to invest USD 3000 on a fridge, do you think that person is really bothered about electricity? I'm just, we can go on a debate here. I understand it. But just think about it for a second, that do you think a person who is ready to spend 3000 USD on a fridge is really bothered about the saving of electricity or anything? Or on the other side of the story, with a USD 3000 fridge, why will I not buy a fridge which is 5-star rating plus all the features loaded in it? I hope I'm able to convey my point here. Okay. So, these are inherent assumptions though. I understand. Are these assumptions? Which of them are assumptions, my friend? Tell me. What is the normal budget? It is like, are you looking for regular fridge or smart fridge? Obviously, with this kind of money, I will look for a smart fridge. No doubt about it. Size. Again, at this kind of money, I'm talking about too much of a budget for a fridge. USD 3000 is not something which is, generally people will spend on a fridge. Okay. So obviously I will need a good size. I have already said, size cannot be a specific question here. At 3000 USD, I would like to go for a quite big a fridge. So the task here for you guys is that you need to test this. See, now Gaurav is saying something. Gaurav says, there could be a few fridges in that budget. I will show you all 5 and you can decide. Now, this is a smart answer. No doubt about it. Okay. So at shop, what will you do? You probably will choose few fridges for me, and then you can come to me and say, hey, here are the fridges in your budget, and here is a comparative study of the fridges, and now tell me what you would like to have. What do you really want to use that fridge for? Maybe we can analyze and help you get it on a lower price. Lavanya, good one. But obviously, fridges are used for storing your food, nothing else. And I said it. Somebody else asked me, what will you do with the fridge? And I said, I would like to keep my shoes and clothes in it. I know some of these answers can be quite offending, guys. They are deliberate attempts for you guys to understand that your questioning cannot be open-ended, because you are the people who are going to test all these things later. Okay. See, Sharmila has asked me a very good question. Maybe a silly question. No question is silly. Answer is silly, which you are going to get for this question. Sharmila asks, do you have any preference to the color of the fridge? Yes, baby pink. So you understand. The more you go and keep asking open-ended questions to your clients or to the stakeholders or to the people who are going to clear your assumptions, the more weird answers you will keep getting from the people. So the idea here, or the exercise here, is that your questions have to be tighter. They cannot be open-ended, because once you asked a question, you are the testers who are going to test these for, these questions. For example, somebody asked me size, and I say, hey, I need a size of 735.45 liters in the fridge. Now think of it, with your question, how difficult you made a life for yourself. Now you need to check 735.45 liters capacity in the fridge, and that can be a major hurdle as a tester, because there might not be enough ways in which you can test that fridge. Now the question here is, with all this, I understand there can be many assumptions here. With all this, what will you test at the store? What will you test at the store? Yeah, go on. So you understand, my problem statement was that you need to understand and test the fridge at shop or the store from where you are buying it, and then you need to test at the home. Yes, of course, Adit, you are correct about it. The more you are precise about your questioning, the better insights you can uncover. No doubt about it. Okay. Okay. So it's getting switched on or not. Okay, I will start with this. Gaurav says it's getting switched on or not, and all parts are there in the package accessories. Okay. Now, Gaurav, you understand that the fridge that you're going to see at the shop might not be the same product that will be delivered at my home. There can be that, in the showcase you have a different product, and then the one which will be delivered at my home will be a different product. They can be two different products actually, in terms of the physical products. Feature wise and everything might be same. So, and plus, how many times you have seen a fridge getting switched on or not at the store? TV, yes. Any other small equipment, yes. But a fridge or a washing machine, people might not test it. So fridge light, all properties of fridge. No, these are all the things that, Mintu says, fridge light, all properties of fridge. These are something that you will test at my home. Yasdan says, is this what you meant? Okay, so you have written something else. Are questions meant to scope down the list of features and requirements so that we use our expertise and knowledge to guide the users into a product that we have can produce? Okay. Yasdan, thank you for writing this. Now, there are two ways to look at it. One is not just the scope down list for your clients, but scope down the things for yourself as a tester. Because sometimes you might be targeting something in your test coverage which may be out of scope for you. Okay, so you need to understand that when it comes to guidance, if you understand that if your client asks you for a feature, and you understand that this is a feature which cannot be created either technically or for any other reason, you can stop that person and fix that person in terms of what that person expects from you right at the start, rather than moving to a later stage and then telling that person, hey, this cannot be done for so and so reason. So you are doing this as a two-way service to yourself as a tester, plus you are doing this as a service to your client. You are checking whether you can test it or not, so you are checking the testability, and on the other side you are telling your customer that here is what you can expect from the system. So what will you check? What will you check at the shop? Checking if the instruction manual matches the model of the fridge that you're actually buying. Nice, Sharmila. These are one of the things that I can check, whether the instruction manuals matches with the model of the fridge that I'm actually buying or not. This is one of the things that I will check. Gaurav says, I mean, the parcel department will check. I never test nor seen someone testing a fridge at the shop. Yes, Gaurav, that is what I'm saying as well, that it might not be that you will check this fridge at home. So let us stop it here. Now, I think you guys have understood, what we are talking about. A bottom line on this testing at the fridge is there can be multiple stages of testing. Okay, guys, it is not just, most of the people think of testing only as an execution stage. People don't understand that there can be planning, designing, or any other stage before you start execution. So once you start asking these questions, uh, you can actually be ready about, when I go into implementation, these are the things I should have, these are the things I cannot have, or these are the things that I should have or could have or would have, and so on and so forth. And you will have very clear idea of in which stage what objectives you want to reach, and you can call them test objectives, or you can call them, your product objectives or project objectives or whatever it is. But you should have a very clear idea of in which stage what is expected from you as a tester. Once you're clear with those objectives, then everything else will start falling into the place. So the framework in which you can work is by asking these questions. You will exactly know these are the stages which are required in testing. Okay, for example, what you want to do in performance, or Sharmila has rightly said, you need to categorize the questions and then fill under the testing types. Yes, that can be also a way. Sharmila rightly said, I totally agree with you on this, that you can have different types of testing, and then you can focus questioning on those testing types. Okay, so moving forward, let us say, hold on guys, I want to ask this here to you guys. Let us say tomorrow, Sunday, tomorrow the fridge will be delivered at my home. So I call you today and I ask you, hey guys, tomorrow the fridge will be delivered at my place. What are all the things you will need to test the fridge? So you understood my question? Tomorrow the fridge will be delivered at my place. So what are all the things you will need to test the fridge? Can you tell me that? What are all the things you will need to test the fridge? Now we are talking about the test environment. We are talking about the different types of, pre-requirements that you might have before you start testing the fridge. What are all the things you require tomorrow? A plug point, voltage to plug in. Okay, Sharmila, point taken. So some kind of, electricity, all the things. So that includes a plug point, that includes an extension box or anything, So I need that. Okay, good. What else I require apart from electricity? I'm waiting for your answers. Your presence at home. Yes, Gaurav, perfect. My presence at home. I should be available at home. If I'm not available at home, how will you enter home? So my presence at home. Thumbs up, a big thumbs up to that. What else? Also, what time it will be delivered so that I don't come too early. Very nice, Lavanya. So what time you should be there, so that timing, or the knowledge, or the understanding of what time you should start. So time, yes, that is important. What else? Space where the fridge will be. Brajesh, very good point. You need space in order to test the fridge. Enough space where the fridge will be kept. Very good. So space is very, very important. You see, now you are talking about the things where you remove them from the equation and you will not be able to test it. If it works without electricity cell, etc., that would be required. So let us assume right now, for the sake of time and everything here, that you require a power source, whatever that is, and that power source should be available. Okay, what else? You all are missing a very important point yet. Test data, maybe food. So Rohit, my friend, tell me what food you require. So we'll talk about it, Argo. We have still not reached a place where we are testing the fridge. Argo says, make sure your fridge is correct with your chosen in the store. I understand that the fridge that I have chosen, but that is not something that you will require right now. You will check that to next day when the fridge will be delivered. Right now, I'm asking you, what are all the things you will require in order to test the fridge? So Gaurav, all the assumptions around the power source, electricity, extension cords, plugs, whatever it is, all that is taken care of in the power source. You require a power source to turn the fridge on, and whatever is required in that, let us keep it into that power source thing. So power, space, time, and me available in my home. These are the four things so far that you have said will be required. But I'm telling you, you are missing a very important thing in this. Uh, Muhammad says time it takes for water to solidify. That is something that you will test tomorrow. So see, Muhammad, you are, confused between prerequisites for the fridge, testing the fridge against what you will do next day. Maybe some scissors and knife to remove the fridge from packing. Very nice. Lavanya has talked about some unpacking the fridge. So some way you should be able to unpack the fridge. That will be required. You can do it with the bare hands, but that's okay. I understand. India, we will not use a scissor and a knife. Probably we'll just rip it off. But that's okay. What else? It is on a different floor than ground, so two people will be required to move it to. Let us assume that the fridge will be delivered inside my flat. Okay, to make it simple, Gaurav. You are reaching there, Lavanya. Think about it. What will be required to test a fridge tomorrow? Yazdan, still we are talking about next day. Nana, power, we have taken care of power. RS, I don't know what is this full name. Aha. Can you open the fridge doors or not, Sharmila? That will be done tomorrow when the fridge will be delivered. Okay, you cannot do it right now. Very difficult to just rip the packaging. Okay, you are taking my words literally, Adit. Thank you very much. The temperature of the fridge again, yes, done. That will be tested. Something which will be tomorrow. It is on. Okay, so I think I have covered it. Hint. The test object. You require a test object to test it. What is the test object in our case? See what big assumption we are taking. To test the fridge, what you require is the number one thing. The fridge itself. Yes, Lavanya, you are correct about it. To test a fridge, you require fridge itself. What I require to test a build tomorrow? The build itself being delivered to you. If the build is not delivered to you, what will you test? Isn't it? So the test object which you are going to test is required in your prerequisites. And then everything else around it. So power supply for that fridge, food, space, time, me available, and you guys available as a tester. If the tester is not available, who will test that fridge? So you are missing all these points. So when you think of the test environment, or you think of, you are thinking of the test data, or you are thinking of the prerequisites before you can do something or test something, you need to understand, have you, and going back to assumptions, we all were assuming that fridge will be delivered. I said fridge will be delivered tomorrow. I never said that fridge has been delivered. I said fridge will be delivered tomorrow. So if the fridge is going to be delivered tomorrow, what is the first thing you require? First thing you require is fridge. Then you require a tester to test it. Then you require electricity. Then you require something else and something else. So there were two things that essentially came into all this, and I want to focus on some of them right now. Somebody said food and somebody said water. Time for water to freeze or something. So how much water you require? Okay, Gaurav says, the guy will only go if the fridge is delivered. Okay, Gaurav said, I could not understand the point. Can you please explain? Okay, let's go back, Gaurav. Now I said, the fridge will be delivered at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Gaurav, please come and test the fridge. Now tell me, what are all the things you will need tomorrow to test the fridge? Because I'm saying that fridge will be delivered tomorrow, the first thing you will require is a fridge. If the fridge is not delivered, you are done. It is the same way. Now, taking this example as something in testing, I'm saying that build will be delivered to you tomorrow 10. What are all the things you will need to test it? Since I'm saying the build is being delivered tomorrow, we assume that build will be delivered tomorrow, which may not be the case. So when I'm writing my entry criteria for tomorrow, in that entry criteria, the first thing I should write is that build should be delivered at 10, because everything else will be dependent on whether the build is delivered at 10 or not. Getting it? Now, if you want to do a release at 4 p.m. tomorrow, your entire planning can be dependent on whether you get a build at 10 a.m. or not. If you don't get a build at 10 a.m., then you might have to cut down a lot of things to deliver it at 4 p.m. So that cannot be done. So Once you start writing the prerequisites, don't leave the obvious things. That is what my point is, Gaurav. I hope you get it now. Don't leave the obvious things in your entry criteria. Got it, Gaurav? Yes, no will help me. Okay, so I will wait for your answer, but okay. So it comes under testing the fridge. Yes, yes, of course. The test object itself should be entry criteria. Availability of the test object is a major point in entry criteria for anything. Okay, so we go forward. Now, somebody said water. Okay, I can go back into my slide, chat a little, and I can read who said that. But I'm asking you, okay, let us assume that you require water tomorrow to check how much time the water will take to solidify. How much water you require? Can somebody tell me how much water you think will be enough to test tomorrow? 1 liter, 2 liter, half a liter, 100 ml, one katori. Okay, good. So you want me to buy a katori as well for the water, Gaurav? One katori is basically a one bowl. Okay, for the people, international audience here, what is one katori? We have one bowl. We have crates with cubes in it, but we will need to put water inside those crates, my friend. Mohammed, my friend, we need to put water inside that crate. Okay, so how much water will be required to put in that crate? How much, whatever that crate is that enough? That is what you mean to say, that how much water that crate will have? So generally, now what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to ask you about the essential test. Yes, depending upon the crate. Yes, that is what I understood. Now, what I'm trying to focus here is that what are the essential things for your project and what are the non-essential things for your product. Because generally, these kind of decisions are taken right at the start of the project when the budget is still open and people might do overspending on the things which are not really necessary. For example, half a liter might be enough rather than 1 liter of water. And you're talking about, if you talk about Indian rupees, you're talking about, or if you're talking about USD, you buy 1 liter water bottle that might be for, let us assume, $10, whereas half a liter water bottle is only for $5. So you're essentially talking about saving $5 worth of your money. This might look as a small amount, but if you keep putting such non-essential expenditures in the project, you will identify that a product generally goes down or a product success goes bad because there will be overspending in the different things in the product. So do you require a Microsoft Word, or you can work with Open Office? Do you require a licensed version of a software, or can you work with a equivalent free source? So this all decisions has to be taken very properly before you go into the execution phase. Do you require Selenium, or you require, let us say, a licensed model like UFT or Tosca or anything else? So these all decisions have to be taken care of before you move in here. Now let us move into the execution part. Let us say the fridge has been delivered, you reach my home, I open door for you, we do the unpacking. Once we have done the unpacking, what is the first thing you will test? Yes, guys. I hope my question is clear. What is the first thing we are going to test? Fridge is there or not? Yes, yes. The first thing we will check is whether the fridge is there or not. Whether the fridge body is. Okay, Gayatri says whether the fridge body is as expected and not damaged. Sorry, guys. Post COVID. So, Mintu said whether there is a fridge or not. Yes, we will check whether it is a fridge or not. Absolutely. The second thing we will check if the fridge is as per the model that we have chosen and it is damaged or not. So physical integrity of the fridge, or whatever the way you want to name it, whether all you have the components delivered as. So that is the second thing you will check, Adit. The first thing you will check whether the fridge has been delivered to you or not, and is it damaged or not. Once you check that, then the second thing you will check is whether all the components, accessories, and everything has been given to you or not. Yasdan says, is the fridge there and is it the correct type? Yes, sir, that is what we will check. I would just like the person to explain all features will work or not. So let us assume, Gaurav, there is nobody to tell us about the features. We are doing an exploratory testing of the fridge now, whether it is the same fridge that we bought. Yes, obviously, Neha, this is the first thing you are going to test. So we checked whether the fridge that we ordered is given to us or not. The second thing we are going to check whether it is damaged or not. The third thing we are going to check is whether it is all the accessories and everything is done or not. Okay. What is the fourth thing we are going to check? Gate open and close is smooth. Very nice. So Gaurav, once you said gate open and close is smooth or not, what is your expectation from that gate? Let us try to, I understand that we might be from different schools of testing, or we might not be from any school. Like me, I'm not, I don't, doesn't belong to any school. But let us say that your client asks you that give me a written documentation of the expected result of gate open and close. What will be your expected result? To suspect the door is faulty even before testing it. Okay, you should suspect that. You paid pessimism is what we all are here for. Yazdan says to suspect the door is faulty even before testing it. Yes, I understand it, and I think paid pessimism is very, very important, because that is what we are here for. So I have asked a question to Gaurav specifically here, and Gaurav says, based on your experience, you have to tell it's not very loose, etc., etc. See, generally what people do, and that is where the documentation is a problem. And let me try to explain it in a way that everybody here understands. One, you are talking about a fridge, you want to open it, you open the door, your assumption is that the door is hinged on one side. What if the door comes out and you can keep it just the other way and do some work in the fridge, take the door back and put it back on the fridge? Now, this can happen if my expected result is fridge door should open nicely, and that is it. If I miss certain things, for example, if I miss it should be hinged on one side, if it is door could be opened without physically touching it. Okay, very nice. Mohammed says in COVID times, you should be able to open the door without physically touching it. That time will also come, my friend. Don't worry about it. But now you understand, a lot of people will say door should open and a light should switch on inside the fridge, as if the door's opening is based on the or dependent on the light inside it. Believe me, if the light doesn't turns on, a fridge door can still be opened. So going back to your documentation again, have you written enough documentation which covers all the areas or all the perspectives of your expected result? For example, when I write, and I have to write test cases, some of the people here might not agree with me in writing test cases, but when I have to write test cases, I have to make sure that I'm not just writing the functional coverage. I write the performance coverage. I write the I write the database. I write what will happen in the database. I write what will happen in any, accessibility, usability, or something like that. I'll give you an example. Let us say my test case is that I click on the, so we are looking at a PowerPoint presentation. I click on the file new, and expected result is a new PowerPoint file should open. Is that enough? I don't think so, because that PowerPoint file should open in a editable mode. A PowerPoint new slide should open in an expected SLA of my performance. It should not happen that I click new now and the PowerPoint presentation opens after half an hour. That will not work for me. That will not work for anybody. So what are my expectations from any test that I'm doing, whether you are doing it through exploratory testing or doing it through test design, or you've just written a test case out of it, or whatever it is, end of the day, is your documentation complete or not? Even if it is not written, is it complete here? Have you thought about all the different perspectives or not? And that can make or break things for you. Okay, I think enough time has been taken now on this fridge. So let us very quickly wrap it up. Understand as a tester that what value you are bringing to the business, unnecessarily creating, ideas and trying to find of trying to find defects which only 1% of your user base can identify, or 1% user base is going to use, is not going to help you. So what value you bring to business as a tester, what value you bring to end users, and finally what value you bring to testing in itself as a tester, is all about making the products better and better. So different layers that I want to talk about here. For example, if you think of these different layers, so take a pledge that as a tester, you are going to talk about users who will be the underlying force behind you. Then you think of the design, technology, and business layer on the top of it, and make sure that as a tester you value testing, and you make sure that testing brings value to your customer. You solve problems, you don't waste time, and you solve problem of your customers, whether they are paid customers or the end users or anybody. And you look at the efficient ways of doing your testing, whether that efficient way is about doing automation or doing something with the help of tools or anything. These things will help you overall in your testing. In the end, testing is like this mantra from uh, old scriptures of Hinduism: Purnamad Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevashyate. Everything in testing is infinite. So you need to understand how you can get the best out of this uh, infinite for you. You can reach out to me. I have given you all the ways you can reach out to me. My email, my Twitter, LinkedIn, all is with you. And if you have any questions now, I will be very happy to answer these questions for you. Okay, I'm waiting.
If anyone
Well,
has,
I've written no questions, please. But I've written no questions, please, but I'll be very open. You can write a mail to me. You can chat with me through Twitter or through LinkedIn, and you can ask me any questions about this talk. I think we have already spent enough time. So, Lavanya, without wasting time, I think people can reach out to me for any questions or anything whenever they want to. Okay?
right, Ramit, I really want to say thank you. This was a brilliant session. And I think you make virtual meetups also so interactive. You're just so good at it. So thank you very much. I
No,
have
no.
a lot of takeaways today. And because of the initial slides that you put up, I also took notes today. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
I really like the
My pleasure.
constructive pessimist word. Like it's probably the first time I heard it, and I think that was great. And thank you for also talking about
Okay.
empathy-driven testing. It's really
Yes.
the need of the hour, I guess. So thank you very much for.
This year on empathy driven testing, that is what I'm hoping. Yes.
So thank you very much for taking time on a Saturday to do this.
My pleasure.
Thank
My
you to
pleasure
all the
always.
participants as well for taking time on your Saturdays to come and attend this meetup. I hope to see you all in the next meetups. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye, everybody.